a new Celebrity Apprentice is crowned as we wrap up the new Celebrity Apprentice on NBC. It's season 15, episode 7, the finale, starting now.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Hello, AfterBuzzers, and welcome to the after show for the Celebrity Apprentice over on NBC for what could be the last time.
We don't know.
We don't know.
We just don't know.
Joining me tonight, sitting next to me, is the Alison Dean.
Hello, everyone. I'm Alison Dean. You can find me everywhere at the Alison Dean. Thank you, Grant.
Yes, I always feel like it's like our one-on-one. I had my one-on-one with Christy last week, and now it's our turn.
I'm so bummed that she's not here.
I know. Christy is on assignment in Orange County for AfterBuzz TV, so she is working.
Yeah.
Yes. And we will be getting into the nitty-gritty with this finale and what we think of who won, how they got there, the overall process, and what we think of the show and what's going to happen here with the show. So let's talk about it. Yes.
Yeah.
So as we promised last week, we were going to introduce the task, and then we would discuss everything that happened after the introduction here. And we teased we would get Alison's POV. So,
here I am.
So here she is.
Here, you did not lie, Grant.
Yes, no, exactly. We keep our word here. So let's talk about it. So Matt's team at the very beginning, I feel like we're jumping all the way back, but don't worry, there's plenty to get into. Matt's team has Carney, Carrie, and Kyle.
I was, I don't know. I didn't understand how the teams shook out, to be quite honest. And I'm assuming it was a scheduling thing. I don't get it. It doesn't make sense, because I'm like thinking, is it from a fan favorites perspective? Is it, the teams were not even, in my opinion. In
A
terms
lot of people
like,
said this.
Which makes perfect sense. I think Carson completely, if you have Carson on your team, Carson was definitely one of the MVPs. We just talked about that.
Yes.
And like, at least Matt would have needed a Lisa Leslie or even a Brooke Charvet.
Yeah, like a finalist. Someone
that at least has carried through, has been on it. But he had 3 people that didn't last very long. I mean, Kyle was on it, but...
Yeah, we never really did see a leadership moment with Kyle where we were like, wow, she really pulled it out.
No.
And I mean, whether you like her or not, it's just cool to see her on. But yeah, as far as records go, it's like...
Although maybe the show is like trying to stack it for the viewer in the sense of like, okay, we're going to make it look like Boy George has this in the bag.
Maybe, yeah.
Because you guys predicted last week.
Right.
Boy George for the win.
You know what they should have done? They should have put Layla on the other team.
Or something, yes.
Yes.
Like, what was... Anyway, I was very perplexed.
Yeah, it looks like there was some old school, what they would say here at AfterBuzz years ago, the dick in the soup, but a little bit of movement on the production side of things. Yes.
I did like, though, and we can talk about this at the end, I liked Arnold's shout out to Carrie in the boardroom. I was like,
oh, yes.
Thank you, Carrie, for this little anecdote of information. I liked it.
She had a moment, finally.
She had a moment.
7 weeks in,
anyway.
Many episodes deep, because who the hell can keep track of all these episodes, doubling up and all this. Anyway, Matt's team, they wanted to plan their shoot and things, dispelling myths of cruising. So they seemed a little intimidated at the beginning with looking at Boy George, and they knew that he was going to be like very out of the box, very creative. So they were running a little scared, it seemed, on that side.
On the theme, like what their theme was going to be. And it seemed like once they attached themselves to the whole passport, like with the one destination, what was it? One destination.
Oh yeah, it's I wrote it down over here. Where the hell is it? It's
I didn't
one
love it.
Everywhere. Yeah, something everywhere. I wrote it down. We'll get there. I'll find it in a moment.
I thought it was okay. I was happy to see that he attached to a theme, so that was good.
Right.
But I didn't love the concept of what they had.
Yes, one direction that takes you anywhere.
One destination.
Or one destination.
Oh,
One Direction. You don't think?
I was like,
yes.
wrong thing.
Yes, wrong thing.
Yeah.
They wanted to talk about to highlight the myths that it's too expensive, there's nothing to do, there's long lines, trapped, and not a cruiser. But the other team did the same thing.
They captured it better.
But at no point was it spelled out that these are the points that you should dispel or address. Like, this was missing in the initial reading of the task. I said, oh, wow, they both, in my mind at first, I was like, oh, wow, they're both highlighting, like,
the same
very
things.
similar, problems. It's funny that they're on the same page, but it's probably all in bullet points that we don't see.
And I definitely think that there was a lot to this particular task that we did not get subtext for.
Yes.
I don't know, because I was just like, the whole time I was watching, I felt like I was piecing things together. I was like, wait, what? And like,
Yeah.
I think at one point they mentioned like the Ninja Warriors came out, and I was like, when did that happen?
Oh, I didn't even catch that.
Oh, I feel like someone said, and
Yeah.
like the Ninja Warriors, and I'm like, are they just referring to Matt Eisman, or were there like additional like all-star Ninja Warriors that were
Right.
present? I really thought I heard this, but maybe everyone out there can say to me that I'm totally
I know I
delusional.
missed part of that, but I was watching a lot of things
Yeah,
were
yeah,
going on. But so Boy George, he mentioned at this point in the previous episode, before we wrap things up, that he wants to play up safety on board for kids. That was completely dropped because I didn't see anything that was child.
If he did mention this in any of his stuff, we did not see it.
No, it wasn't applicable. So they wanted to dispel myths and have a theme song. They had the photo shoot, which Boy George ended up kind of taking over because it was taking a long time with the girls and all that. I thought they had some great concepts for photos.
I thought it was spot on. I thought it was great. I thought it was humorous. I thought it was kind of cheeky, and it was really clever. It was very clever. The photos looked good. I mean, the photos definitely looked like something you would see maybe in like an airline magazine.
Yes.
Or a cruising magazine.
Yes.
Or whatever. Like, it looked like an ad you would see.
Yeah.
Whereas on the other team, it looked like a PowerPoint slide that I threw together 5 minutes
Right.
ago.
I couldn't even I just watched the show and I don't even remember
It was like
what that team had, Matt's team.
It wasn't good.
Yeah.
In
Well,
my opinion.
I liked the photo that they had of Kyle at the end of the episode when she was very concerned. They had a snap of her, and it was probably just an edit, but it was her at the end of the roulette table, very concerned about the direction of this. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was like an old school edit to me. I liked that. I'm like on a little nostalgic moment with this show. I think because I got my start with Celebrity Apprentice, I would call in back in 2012 when I was like out of work and living in North Hollywood. Oh Lord, it was like not like a good situation. So that got me introduced to AfterBuzz. So I played the old theme music that they used to play back in 2012 when the old hosts would do the show, and it'd be like 2 hours long.
And like it would be, it would feel beefy, and it would feel like, I don't know, that you saw like a complete episode. I feel like this whole season we're putting a puzzle together.
Yes.
We're like, wait, I'm missing what that is.
That's what we
where's
do.
That piece?
That's exactly what we do. Yeah, I feel like Christy fills in where the two of us are blurry, and then we kind of correct her if something's off. Because, yeah, I feel the same way. But then the old days, they had in the old studio, it was 4 people. It was, some of those episodes, they recap for 2 hours. And so this is an old school show, and so I feel like we're at the end here. So I feel like we have to pay homage to the Ronnie Karams and Kristen Carneys and all those other folks who've done the show, you know, because it's like this is one of their biggest shows at the time.
Man,
you know?
we'll see what happens. Maybe they'll come back and surprise us.
Yeah, who knows? So Carson has just totally, just like you mentioned, MVP. Like Carson's got this because he's just like, nope, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. Here's the concept. I'm gonna put this together. This is the presentation. Like you could confidently put things in his hands, and you wouldn't have to worry about him sabotaging you either, which is good.
No, it's like he really.
Shout out Omarosa for the sabotaging in season 1 to Kwame on the Real Housewives, on Celebrity Apprentice, just to really bring it back.
I think he's the kind of person where it's like a glorious thing to have him on your team. Have him as a friend, have him on your team. He just definitely, it's like he gives everything his all, and he doesn't necessarily, it doesn't feel like he needs anything from you. You know what I mean? It's just like one of those, he's like he's happy to give.
Right, and he doesn't ask unnecessary questions, but yet you know that he can handle it. You're not like sending someone off on an assignment with him and just being like, I hope they figure it out and they know what they're doing. You can just say, here's this, and you trust him.
He has a creative vision. Like, it comes to him pretty quickly, and he can sail with it.
Yeah.
Sail with it.
I never watched Queer Eye. I've known Carson only through doing appearances in panels.
I saw Queer Eye and I loved it. I thought it was
I
fabulous.
just never watched. I never had cable half the time, believe it or not, growing up. But I never watched it. But I've only seen him kind of giving his 2 cents on things, almost like a fashion police, like a commentary.
Yeah.
So I've never actually seen him get to work, believe it or not. And I was very impressed. Obviously, this really helped his image, I think, even bring it into the modern times of like where we are now and appreciation for Carson. So.
And I think he's gonna get calls now from brands to just be like, what would Carson do? And he'll
Yeah.
be like, my fee is this much money.
I hope it re-energizes him. And maybe he doesn't even need to be re-energized. I'm sure he does very well. But
NBC should give him a show.
yeah, why not?
I think they should.
With all the lifestyle programming and everything, I mean, just give
He's
this
the
man,
perfect-
yeah,
he's perfect.
he's charismatic, he's fun, he's lovable. Why in the hell not?
Yeah.
We're just lobbying for you, Carson,
I
over
know.
here at AfterBuzz. We're
What the
just,
hell?
yes.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Boy George is celebrating being 8 years sober, which is quite an accomplishment.
Go Boy George.
So yeah, he's kind of lost track of time, and I hear that when they're on the show, that like literally days just all blend into one, because you have like a day off sometimes, or it's like they'll do double tasks, then you'll have like a Sunday off. So like, to lose track of dates and stuff is very easy on this, especially with the pace. And I imagine that wanting to keep this budget small, they were really on a run this time around.
I mean, it kind of showed,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
Yeah.
for all of us, we were just kind of all thinking, what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't
Yeah.
want to be thinking that, but I was thinking that.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the variety show is coming together on both sides. So Carson is figuring that out. Boy George is writing the song.
I was not worried about Boy George's variety show. I was worried about Matt Eisman's variety show.
Yes.
Because I knew with Boy George, they'd be able to pull from the wings. They'd be able to pull some stuff. Here's another thing. 15 minutes. They each had 15 minutes for this variety show. We did not see the majority of both variety shows. So I'm wondering who else may have come out. I have no idea. On both sides. Because for Matt Eisman, the only thing then that we saw was Wilson Phillips. And
Right.
not to say I'm all about Wilson Phillips. But if we're talking a variety show, I don't know what the variety was.
That's true. It's an odd thing to put a variety, like a title on that.
I'm
Because
like-
it wasn't, it just was like a presentation to me.
I wanted to see Erica Jane come out.
There you go.
I wanted to see Erica Jane and Lisa Vanderpump come out together and do some like hybrid song together. I mean,
my
I don't know.
goodness.
Like, why didn't Kyle
Yes.
like turn out some stuff? Kyle even could
Yeah.
have sung some stuff. I mean, she grew up as a child star. Like, she could have brought her
Bring it
sister
on.
out.
I know.
Like, things could have been done here. And I'm
Yes.
like, maybe they were done and we didn't see them. I don't know. Again,
Yeah.
the puzzle. We're
Right.
missing some pieces here.
I know. I'm like, okay, I don't know what to tell them at this point. Like, literally, the show is 38 minutes. So if they did 2 15-minute presentations,
that's
that
it.
would have been the whole show.
And then the boardroom.
Yeah, but I mean, that's what
I
we
would've been
wanted to
okay with
see.
that,
But this
though.
is the finale. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, opening up with this show, the whole keyboardist scenario is happening, and then a new guy walks right in, and that's the end of that. And
That's it.
They're always so easily tied up. I think I said this last week. They always end that like second to last episode, like on the edge, and then like, one thing happens and they're fine.
Yeah, for me, that whole moment, I was like, really? This is the kind of drama we need to bring? I was like, I didn't know. I didn't think it was that valuable to the entirety of the show.
Yeah.
But hey, I'm happy the new guy that walked in was someone they had worked with before. It seemed all hunky-dory. Great, we can move on. It just, fantastic.
Yeah.
I was like, I do not need to spend any more of my eyeball time looking at any of this. You know what I mean? That's
Oh,
it.
you're over it, huh? You're just like,
It was just like, it's the fact that became drama. I was like,
right.
this happens all the time in many situations. It's just like some people are meant to work together, some people are not, and we move on. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know what they should have done? They should have put Chael on one of these teams and gotten another troublemaker like Lisa or someone on the other side, just to balance out,
Ugh.
to make it interesting.
I'm like, Chael.
Just because, what if, like, everyone knows it's so difficult to get these tasks done, but if you have someone who's hard to work with, then you can really have an interesting concept, and you can have those conversations in the boardroom, how you dealt with someone who was arguably difficult to work with.
You know, I think that because of how both of those two players left the show and just how it sort of all panned out, I am sure if they were asked to come back, they probably said no.
That's true. Yeah.
I don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised by that.
I don't see why Lisa would want to help anybody, and I certainly don't see why Jayla would want to help anybody.
Right.
So on the other sides, I'm like, they were, anyway.
So at the finale episode, we start right away. The parties are starting. I'm like, oh, okay. I guess I guess everything's done magically.
I was like, did I miss something? Okay,
Same.
what?
Yeah, I guess like everything's magically done, and we don't see any of this leading up to the day of, the setup, an animal coming in, nothing.
Nothing.
Parties. Matt's team has ice sculptures, live animals. Nice touch.
Nice touch. I appreciated that. Yeah.
One destination that takes you anywhere. Photo booth. Matt says that he didn't see much of an experience when he looked across over at Boy George's side. And
we didn't actually get much of anything when they panned to Boy George's side. We saw what they did, which was lovely. It looked beachy.
They were pulling from the Sea-Born and the Princess. They were trying to recreate those deals with a spa and a bar.
It was fine. What I appreciated from Matt's side was I liked that he was very deliberate in handing the passport to the governor and to Tyra and talking them through, like, the dessert station and the animal experience and the relaxation station. I think that was a very smart play on his part, in the sense of just kind of tying things together, making your guests aware of what is actually happening in this room, and sort of how it all ties back to the one destination, blah, blah, I don't know. Yeah. See, I need to remember this. The fact that it's like not easy for me to recall.
Yeah, anyway, I even wrote it down wrong, and that's, I mean, like, we're doing this for real.
One direction for all.
There you go.
Right.
Well, yeah, so then they had a lot of loud fundraising going on Matt's side, and Boy George wasn't too impressed with this.
They got every soundbite of Boy George going,
yeah.
Ugh, they're so annoying. I think when you're fundraising, you need to bring the kind of energy that Matt was bringing. And the fact that he had the kind of people coming out, a lot of people that are affected by arthritis and what their experiences were. I mean, there was a lot of people that were not celebrities that were coming through for him. And so I think you need to make them feel that kind of energy, because otherwise it's all for naught. I mean, people need to have that sort of feeling of being uplifted, and he was giving that to them. And so I applaud Matt for that, because I do feel like that's the kind of way you need to behave for money. For Boy George, I mean, he's got so much money, and I know, like, from the Seas Candies episode, he was very, very humble, and he was very generous with his fans and all that stuff, so we saw that kind of behavior from him, but I think we could have seen a little bit more, and I actually was surprised that Carson wasn't sort of turning it up a little bit more, or maybe we weren't seeing it again, I don't know, perhaps he was, and we just were getting the edits of him not, but I certainly didn't mind that. I thought it was a little catty that George would be like, why is there so much noise for all the money being raised? I'm like, come on, Boy George.
I mean, the least you could do is show excitement if someone's handing you a check for $90,000.
Like, honestly,
I mean,
on Boy George's side, they should have had a little recording of Karma Chameleon thing, like a little jingly thing, and like he could have pressed the button every time the money came in. It would be come in, and like whatever. If he doesn't want to do it, have a recording of him doing it, right?
Like an interaction. So give people something for their donation. I guess. Yes.
Right?
Why not?
There you go.
Why the hell not?
Too late now.
Yeah, no, it was a little underwhelming. I mean, they literally were standing around like tables, like, banquet tables, just like taking checks.
That was lame too. I was like, that's boring.
The lighting was really bad too. I just will note the lighting. I don't know where they put these people. I know the lighting on cruise ships isn't exactly for the stage, but I was just really thrown off. It looked like they were in like a dark hallway, taking checks.
They were in some kind of like a hotel ballroom hallway thing.
Oh, you're right. They weren't even on the damn boat. Yeah,
no,
that's true.
Right? Were they? Well, no, I don't think they were on.
No,
I don't think they were on a boat. I think they were
right.
in like a hotel. It struck me as like ballroom 1 and ballroom 2.
They were on the boat when they did the shoot like that day of. So this all blended together because we just jumped to like, oh, everything's done. It's time for the show.
Yeah.
I don't know. What can I say? Were you concerned that Caitlyn Jenner might not make it?
No. Again, the drama.
Yeah, no, I know. I was like, oh, relax. Like, oh, Boy George was getting all nervous. Oh, we're going to miss the whole thing. You're not going to miss it. You're in it.
Right. It was interesting because we did not see... Did we see one celebrity on Matt Eisman's side come through? I don't think we did. I don't think one did.
I can't recall.
he was getting some interesting numbers for sure. Like there was a 210,000. I was like, whoa, 210,000. Okay, sir. But like these were, you know, I mean, obviously wealthy, generous people. But on Boy George's side, I thought it was more interesting. Like they were definitely giving him attention on like the celebrity front. Like, oh,
Yes.
there's celebrities for Boy
Right.
George. Yeah.
Which made it interesting when we came to the totals, you know.
I know.
When before we get to that point, let's talk about the presentations. You've touched upon your POV on what you think of, what you thought of it. But all the impersonations that Matt opened up with, good idea or risky?
I think at that point he had the kind of rapport with the governor that it was okay. He seemed amused by it. He seemed, and I think on some token, he wouldn't have done it unless he kind of felt that Arnold appreciates that kind of, I don't know, homage to him. I think he kind of likes it. I don't know. And I think because it was peppered with Matt's story of arthritis, I don't know quite, I was trying to figure out how that weaved into the whole variety show experience. I mean, I appreciated that he spoke about it, but they definitely spent a lot of time on that.
Agreed,
And
yes.
so I thought that was also an interesting way to showcase everything that he did, because 15 minutes, we're seeing a lot of arthritis in this particular presentation.
Right.
And not a whole lot of variety show.
Right,
So,
and very little carnival branding.
yeah.
You know, it's more about him and about his experience, which I understand from a charity aspect. But yeah, if we are there to talk about this carnival brand and what you're representing, yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
I was sort of like, okay, what am I missing? Where's the puzzle piece?
When he was very loud doing the impersonations, I don't know if you caught the shade that Boy George was giving, but he said, "Oh, I love it. It's so noisy." It's like so loud.
That was good.
Yeah, it's so shady. You know, like I was gonna sniff that out. You know, very
He's very British.
yes, very British, which he'll admit.
Where's his tea? Yeah,
Yes,
right?
yes.
It's like, just give me a spot of tea. Yeah.
So we told the story about the rheumatoid arthritis. Wilson Phillips took the stage. There was one exec
That
She
loved. She was
loved it.
about it. She was feeling it. A miss for them. I don't know why they didn't get everybody up and dancing. That was a big miss for me.
Oh,
Because if you
yeah.
noticed how energized the room was with Boy George,
Very true.
everyone in that room, it was like party atmosphere. They were all having fun. Carson was dancing around. I don't know why everyone was being so reserved on Matt's side. I mean, like, let's get up. It's Wilson Phillips. The last time we saw them was Bridesmaids or something. Was
Yeah,
it?
I
Bridesmaids?
think the last scene,
Was
right?
it Brides? Yeah. Was it Bridesmaids? I think so.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I can't recall.
I'm all about Wilson Phillips, but that was like, come on, let's get everyone like holding on together, holding their
Exactly.
hands.
Turn it up.
Let's do something.
Well, Carson's presentation, well, not even Carson, Boy George's presentation, which he kind of let Carson lead. He talked about the cruising, the myth busting of all that. They really did keep it on brand.
Everyone needs a Carson at home.
Yes.
I was like, I need a Carson at home. Yeah.
They talked about luxury and having nothing to do, which can be a good thing.
So good. That was
Yes.
so smart. Nothing to do? Exactly.
Yeah, I
like
mean,
that.
that sounds so good to so many of us. You know what I mean?
And I remember it.
Yes. Entertainment, that you know that aspect as well, all the stuff you can get on board. So they really kept it on brand. Boy
Yeah.
George came out and did his song, and
He did several songs
yes,
and some
played-
original.
played his strengths.
He definitely did.
Yes, I would say so. And Natasha Bedingfield made an appearance. I haven't heard of her in a while. Good
She
for
looks
her.
Good.
Good
Go
for her.
Natasha.
Yeah.
I know.
Boardroom time. Arnold is impressed and quote blown away
He's
by what
blown
he saw.
away. He's blown away. Which, you know, I think at this rate, 7th episode, I mean, I thought there was going to be like 15 episodes. So I was like, 7th episode, good. It's taken him 7 to be fully impressed with everything going on. Okay.
Exactly.
I accept. Yeah.
What do you
I
have
like,
over there?
Well, I have like a tally. So like I was trying to go through and kind of like rank the teams, right? And this
Okay,
is before
yeah.
this is before we knew who raised the most money. But like on Matt's side, great energy, and the overall theme was okay. Like I thought the theme was meh. So I think for the most part I'd give more theme to Boy George's team, but I think overall concept of like the experience for people when they walked in, I think Matt captured that better. Mm-hmm. I do. I think.
Yes.
So I don't know. Where are we kind of like
Right.
1 and 1?
Photos.
I thought Wilson Phillips. Photos. Boy George's team for sure
Exactly. Yeah.
captured that way better. Wilson Phillips was a win, but then again, Boy George and Natasha Bedingfield. Is that more of a win? I don't know. I'm like.
I think they were neck and neck.
I'm
I
like,
really
ah.
tipped the scales a little
But like
bit.
conga line versus no conga line.
Yeah. I gotcha.
Yeah, so I was sort of like, I felt like they were kind of weirdly neck and neck on weird things. You know, it was like there were some things that Boy George's team did way better on, but then there was other things where I was like, so I knew the money was going to be a big.
Right. That's kind of what I thought. It was just going to be who.
It's all going to weigh on the money.
That, yeah. So they all had very nice things to say about each other in the boardroom, even their teammates. Perhaps the biggest loser in all this is Vince Neil for not replying to anyone's messages on either side.
So Vince Neil.
That's so bad though. Like that makes you look awful.
It does.
Like like just throw them each like 10,000
or something.
Yeah.
Just like I love you, guy.
Exactly, because wasn't he on both teams at some point? I mean, not that this.
Well, I mean, they made his charity a whole lot of money.
That's true. They made him like a record-breaking amount.
A record-breaking amount of money, right?
So Matt attributed his fundraising to relying on the Arthritis Foundation, which is like you mentioned. Boy George was going to pull in all the celebrities, so he had to create a different strategy, and I applaud him for doing that because he could easily say, "Look, I did as much as I could with my network," but he went above and beyond.
He did.
Only to benefit his charity.
I think it's interesting that they didn't call any attention to Kyle and whom she may have brought in, because certainly she has access to people, and we didn't really even get any intel on Carrie until Arnold mentions her connection to Sylvester Stallone.
Yes.
Which I was like, go Carrie.
Yeah.
But I thought that was weird too.
How much he gave.
I know.
I'm curious.
I know. It's like they don't tell us anything.
Yeah. Well, Boy George, they were all positives, but they liked the presentation. They were very impressed by the party. They liked the photos that we liked so much. The variety show, they thought that had a good strength with the theme of emoting. Cruising. That was what they emoting cruising. Okay. They liked the performance, and Boy George raised a grand total of $445,000, so almost $446,000.
Because it was like 98, right? 445.
Yeah, 925
or something.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
it was
Okay.
like basically like
Let's just round up.
Yes.
Someone just give $10. Come on.
Yeah.
Let's just like.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Matt, they liked Matt's performance. They found it engaging, fun, party. They liked the animals, which I loved seeing them.
The animals.
Yeah, it was very smart.
Major gold stars for that.
Yes. The passport idea that you explained, they liked that, and the theme. And he raised $529.
That was, I was like, talking about knocking it out of the park.
So almost $1 million raised on this one task. Very impressively, from a charity aspect, like that's a great thing.
Go both of you. Yes, amazing.
Very good.
Yeah, it like warmed my heart when I heard those numbers. I was like, good job, guys.
And let's take into account that these are two men who have won previously, like I believe twice. So on top of this amount, I mean that's
more money.
Yeah,
that's true. They definitely they're gonna have some buildings named after them or something.
Yeah,
no, I don't know.
They should. Why the hell not?
At least a little like placard on a wall.
Yes.
Matt Eisman.
That would be so nice.
Boy George. Yeah,
Boy George. Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
So the final boardroom, it's down to the two. They cleared out all the dead wood. And
love you, Grant.
It's Matt and Boy George, of course. Matt, these are a few points that Arnold's pointed out. He said, well, you were the least well-known when you came in here. You were the underdog. I know. So basically, you're nobody. Everyone's cutting against you.
Why are you on Celebrity Apprentice? Because you're not a celebrity. Yeah.
But you pulled through. He's like, thanks. Boy George is like, Boy George, you came in as like the biggest star in the room. You had a slight fall. You had to shift gears. You had to keep shifting. He mentioned this like 3 times. I'm like, all right, but you're just talking out of your butt now. Yeah. But you came back and you came back strong. And I don't think Boy George would even say that he lost his mojo at any point in the game.
No, you know what? I think he found it. I think he was finding it along the way, because I think, obviously this was totally out of his comfort zone of things to do, right?
Yeah.
And he kind of found his groove, if you will.
Right.
I mean, he really did.
And that was kind of his final argument. He said, I worked really hard. He said, I learned that I do have a business head.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, yeah.
Well, I mean, don't fire your business manager, but yes.
Yes,
right.
yes. Or that manager of his on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, though. I mean.
Maybe fire that one.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
You said it.
Just kidding, PK. Just kidding, PK. Okay.
And he's very proud of, Boy George, very proud of himself, and he felt that he won. He's like, we're good. I'm in a good place.
The minute he said that, I was like, they're going to give it to Matt.
Yep.
The minute those words came out of his mouth, I was like, and Matt Eisman is the next Celebrity Apprentice.
Matt argued that he worked super hard. He was not afraid to fail. This goes into that risk thing that Arnold wanted from the beginning, and that he led people to bring out the best of them.
I agree with that.
Yes, and he set a goal financially and broke it, which is super. I mean, how could you not give it to this guy?
I agree. I definitely think that if you were to, line up the poker chips, if you will, I think Matt Eisman deserved it.
It's a little more than that. It's not, by no means is it a landslide, but yes.
No, and I think in the sense, I certainly was surprised that Boy George got to the finale. He certainly would not have been I don't think he was ever in my picks for finale. I definitely thought that Brooke had more of a shot of getting to finale, just kind of based on how she operated. But I was very pleased that Matt took it.
Yeah.
I wonder if Brooke texted him.
Oh, I wonder. I wrote that. I said, I want Matt to win. This is when they were going back and forth and Arnold was deliberating. And I said, I want Matt to win this. Like, I just kind of felt it for him, mainly because of Boy George's comment, how he was already so pleased with the experience and the money he's raised that I feel like he could walk away from there being totally fine. And he did, and we never saw Boy George again.
That was weird, too. I was like, wait a minute. I mean, I get that this was, you're not the winner, but, it's not like you're terminated, get to the chopper. Like, I feel like we're past that now. So I was very confused as to why he was not having any Martinellis or something
exactly.
in the, celebration room.
Yeah, where'd he go?
That was weird to me.
Yeah,
I'm happy that you pointed that out, because I was like, huh?
It's like, you're out, you're done. We don't even need to interview you.
Yeah,
like,
no interview. There's nothing.
Yeah. After all the tasks, being a finalist, they didn't even give him a one-on-one.
No, I was like, this is really. I
you
don't know
what? I mean, they need to at least put, like they used to do at the end of the last seasons of Celebrity Apprentice. They said, for a one-on-one interview, check out tomorrow, when we discuss the firing of Meatloaf. You know what I mean? Like at least.
I like that was the name that came to your head in this moment. Yeah. Meatloaf.
It's so stupid. Yeah. But I want to see, at least put an NBC.com extra where you just do a hot interview real quick, on the fly, what was it like? And they're like, how do you feel that this is done? I hate that question. How do you feel? But where are you at this point? What do you think? Do you have a message to Matt? Do you have a message to Arnold? Just recount your experience. Nothing. Anyway.
Nothing.
Arnold, at the end of the day, said that Matt won based off of consistency. Can't argue with that.
Cannot argue. Matt was definitely consistent. And just all around, people always sort of applauded his work ethic, and were always happy to have him on their team, outside of last week when, I don't know, someone who said that I don't know, that he didn't do something. I don't know, someone there was a comment, they threw him under the bus.
Oh, and the last task, and the honest task?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, because he was a pitchman. He was the OxyClean guy. He wasn't really very not, I don't think they were honest, but very relatable. He was a little more of a pitchman in that. That was the argument against him then. But I mean, if that's all you have,
that's all you have. You're too much anyway. So I was anyway, okay.
So congratulations, Matt. Good for you.
Here's another thing. I would have liked to have seen a running tally of the amount of money made for every charity.
Yes.
So I wanted to see the face of the celebrity, and I mean, not if they made zero money for their charity, then I don't need to see you on that screen, but the charity and how much you raised, because this is an epic amount of money that was raised, and they brought no attention to that in this last episode.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously $1 million for those two combined, but I wanted to see a recap.
Yeah, I'm even wondering if they have something on the website for the show that just says so-and-so's fighting for this charity, and there's a bar graph of how much they raised. Bar graph, Or,
they should do that historically for all seasons.
Yeah.
That's really cool to be a part of something where you're being that charitable. Call attention to it.
Yeah. Yeah, that goes back to what I want to say about in general. Is it for charity? I mean, obviously this is a TV show. There's money to be made. There's ad dollars behind this. But where does this leave us? I mean, is Arnold going to be terminated?
I think it's the fact that it took this long for the show to air, I think, is a bad sign. I do. I think it's not a good sign. I definitely think that obviously the format has changed. Not just obviously the host, but the format. We all felt like things were just missing. There was not the story wasn't being told in some way. So
I mean, I think the format was pretty consistent, but it was just edited quickly.
Okay, edited. Well, that part bothered me.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm with you.
I was bothered by this.
Yeah.
I don't feeling
And if you're going to do that, just have simpler tasks. Don't have things that we don't know of until it's over.
Right.
You know, like just say we want like 3 things. You have one presentation where you have to highlight the bread. Not, and you need to discuss like myths. Like, well, all right, well, like that's fine, but like we need to know that if we're watching, because we're watching. I've taken so many notes for this show, you know? I'm trying to be consistent here to deliver everything to you, you know?
I know.
So
I don't know. I mean, I feel like, I guess anything is possible in television.
yeah. I don't know. I feel like in general, all these shows are going to get a second wind. Like, I don't know anything, but I'm just saying in the beginning, in a couple of years, or there's already talk of American Idol returning. Now, we really don't need American Idol to be back on. I'm just saying, in my opinion.
It hasn't even been off that long for it to be like talks of coming back.
Yes. I don't think we need it, but
interesting.
Yeah, I just, oh God, remember this show used to repeat on CNBC. Like they used to get so much use out of the show. So I would love for it to come back, perhaps when the I mean, everyone's on the scripted kick, and everyone wants to be a premium cable channel now, you know, and things always change. So we shall see where this fits in the future. I don't know anything. I mean, this show could come back. I don't know anything, but I feel like it's going to go the way of like a Biggest Loser, where we just never hear. They're just indefinitely just floating out there for pickup, you know? We never know.
Like, I think part of it, too, is obviously the Celebrity Apprentice came after X amount of The Apprentice, right? So it's like there was this buildup of just regular Apprentice and people doing these things to end up working for Trump. So I think that they need to figure out if they're going to be doing just the traditional Apprentice again. And if that happens, is it going to be Arnold?
Yeah, because is Schwarzenegger Incorporated a real company? I'm just going to call that. That's not anything real. You know what I mean? Like, where are you going to work?
I think he's fine for Celebrity Apprentice, but then again, it's like, then are we doing 2 different sort of roasty people for...
See, that was a totally different time of reality TV when people were competing for, like, I want to work for Diddy, like, I want to be a celebrity. Like, they were like, there was like something you got out of it. Like, you know, a top model, you know, record deals. That was like a totally different era in reality. Now it's just like, you know, famously single, the celebrity boot camp and all this. So now it's just like attaching names to it. So it really has morphed.
It has morphed.
Yeah, so we'll see what changes next.
We'll see with all of you.
Yeah. So I love talking about reality TV. So this is the most interesting discussion for me. Just to see what you think.
Oh, dear.
Yes.
I don't know.
Well, you guys, thank you for joining us, especially if you've joined us for all these episodes.
All 7?
Yes.
A whopping.
Well, in general, too. I mean, the show's been on for a long time.
Oh, yeah. Well, if you've been on for all seasons, that's, I applaud you.
Yeah, this was one of my, like... This was like a goal for me to do this one years ago. So it's cool that I got to do this once again. So I appreciate that. And I appreciate you guys leaving your comments below.
Yes.
And giving us some tweets and supporting our own projects. We really appreciate that. Alison, where can we find you and what would you like to promote?
You can find me everywhere at the Alison Dean. And certainly, yes, I'm very curious if everyone thought Matt was going to win. Tweet me. Let me know. Let us all know. At Grant's Rants, at everyone. At Christy Reports. Let us all know.
Yes. And if you want a good laugh for Valentine's Day, check out my podcast, episode 50 of Grant's Rants Hollywood Talk. It's a good one. It's really a fun. I know,
look at you, Grant.
Yeah, we'll have to have you on soon again, Allison. But it's a good show. And if you want to just laugh, take a good listen. It's on iTunes, Stitcher, and all major podcasting platforms, and YouTube for the new... or last, parentheses, maybe, we don't know, for the Celebrity Apprentice. That'll do it for us here at AfterBuzz TV. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Let's do Buzz your latest.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later, apprentice.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.